We head now to North Carolina, where the Democratic governor there, Roy Cooper, is speaking about the repeal of the bathroom bill, HB 2. Let's listen in.
In a perfect world, with a good General Assembly, we would have repealed House Bill 2 fully today and added full statewide protections for LGBT North Carolinians. Unfortunately, our supermajority Republican legislature will not pass these protections. But this is an important goal that I will keep fighting for. Now, House Bill 2 created a misguided, unworkable, and unnecessary requirement that individuals use the bathroom that matched the gender on their birth certificate. Today's law immediately removes that restriction. It's gone. Now, transgender kids aren't subject to the horrible requirement and embarrassment that could put them in more danger of being bullied or preyed on. House Bill 2 stopped a number of businesses from expanding here or coming here to North Carolina. Companies that I have talked to, companies that I have recruited who were hesitant or refusing to bring businesses to our state before the passage of today's bill now are telling me we are coming. I believe sports are coming back. The ticket takers and the housekeeping staff and the parking attendants working at the arenas around our state will have more money in their pockets because of this bill today. With House Bill 2 in place, local governments could not pass protections for their LGBT employees. Now they can today. With House Bill 2 in place, local governments could not pass laws protecting LGBT people in their contracting. Now they can today. Under House Bill 2, a supposed bathroom bill, cities were prohibited from adding minimum wage requirements for companies that they contracted with. But today, that restriction has been removed. Today. With House Bill 2 in place, people had only a short amount of time to sue the state for discrimination. With the law we signed today, they have 3 times as long. Those are some of the protections that local governments can do today because of the law that I just signed, that they couldn't do under House Bill 2. And in 2020, our local governments will be able to pass stronger non-discrimination ordinances that protect even more people. Under House Bill 2, that kind of justice was permanently denied. I wish it were sooner than 2020. I really do. But while these additional protections may be temporarily delayed, they will not be forever denied, particularly if I have anything to do with it. I will work to make sure that these protections are able to be added to our law. Now, this new bill is a compromise, but we stopped Republicans from adding provisions that permanently placed LGBT rights subject to a referendum or allowed people to use religious beliefs to discriminate commonly called RFRA provisions. I made clear that I was not going to support those provisions, and they didn't happen. This is not the end of our work to make North Carolina better. I will continue pressing every single day to make sure that North Carolina is a more welcoming place. I thank all of you, and I'll take your questions. Yes, I'm sorry.
What do you think is the biggest compromise that people are clearly not happy about this bill for?
Well, nobody wanted to compromise who were against the House Bill 2. I wanted a complete repeal of House Bill 2. And here was my choice. I could demand that House Bill 2 be repealed fully, as I have been doing for a long time, and just not do anything other than demand that it be repealed. And this law would have continued to go on forever. Not forever, but it certainly would continue to go on into 2019. Hopefully, the elections will turn out better in 2018 for Democrats in the General Assembly. But it was clear that they were not going to do a full repeal of House Bill 2. What we've done today is allowed local governments to pass some ordinances that they could not pass under House Bill 2, both today and in the future. And I think that is important for our state. It's important that we remove this horrible requirement that transgender people had to go to the restroom of their birth certificate. That is gone. That has been an issue that has affected our reputation and hurt us. It is gone. I certainly would have supported and would have wanted a clean repeal of House Bill 2. It was clear that that couldn't happen. I wanted to make sure that we could get the best deal we could to repeal House Bill 2, and this is the best deal that we could get. Yes?
What are some of the companies you've heard from who are reacting out of it? What happened?
Well, you've seen a number of companies talk about their support of this compromise piece of legislation and how important it has been to have House Bill 2 repealed. We're in the recruiting mode with some of them, and some of them will be announced very soon. And they will tell you that they wouldn't have done it without this legislation. Yes.
NCAA factor into your decision in this case?
You know, this was more than about sports and jobs. It was about discrimination, and it was about North Carolina's reputation, and it was about wanting us to work toward ending discrimination. And I could not tolerate having House Bill 2 be the law of the land in North Carolina. I could not tolerate it another minute. The NCAA, and I've been in a lot of contact with them over the last week, updating them, begging for extensions to give North Carolina more time to get something passed. Clearly, it's important to our reputation. It's important to our people when the NCAA and the ACC locate their championships here. It helps to restore our reputation. It helps put more money in the pockets of that parking attendant and the housekeeping staff at the arena and those people who are selling programs. They've lost out over the last year. And having the NCAA come back and having the ACC come back and having the NBA come back will help to restore North Carolina's reputation. And they also want to fight discrimination. They want a clean repeal of House Bill 2, as I do. But what we have to do right now is to take this important step. And this was the best deal we could get. And if we didn't do it before the NCAA made its decision, I feel pretty confident that the pressure would not have been there on the Republican leadership to do anything had this deadline gone by. And so it was important to getting a compromise passed, but it was not the only reason, because House Bill 2 was and is wrong in and of itself, and this starts to correct it. It doesn't fully correct it. I know we've got more work to do, and I think some people are unhappy because it doesn't fully correct it, and I wish we could have. And I wish this time limit on being able to do the additional protections for discrimination could be sooner. But that was the best deal that we could get, and the Republican majority leadership had complete control on what went to the floor and what didn't. So they had to be the final arbiters of what was going to go on the floor. And there were a number of proposed compromises that I said, no, that's not worth it even to repeal House Bill 2. You're trading one problem for another. This makes an important step forward. It doesn't take a single step backward, and it's important for North Carolina to be moving forward.
Governor, could you explain how you believe the LGBT community has more protection under the law today?
Because under HB 2, they did not have the ability or the right to protect their own employees. Now they can add LGBT protections for their own employees. Under House Bill 2, they had no rights with people they were contracting with to insist on LGBT protections. Today, because I signed this bill, they now have the right to insist on LGBT protections, and that will be an important reason for the ACC and the NCAA, because they can contract with local governments for the LGBT protections in these arenas. So those protections did not exist under House Bill 2. They exist today. In addition, there are more protections that will come online in 2020. And yes, I wish that were sooner. But with this General Assembly, if we had not done this today, House Bill 2 would have continued on. It would have continued on into 2019 probably, because what we would have had to have done is to affirmatively pass legislation to repeal House Bill 2, and we need more people in the General Assembly.
That was Governor Roy Cooper. He got into office earlier this year based on the fact that his predecessor had this bill passed, and he's trying to defend his actions here, saying that the protection may be delayed, but it won't be forever. He understands that a lot of LGBT activists are unhappy with the way this was repealed, calling this HB 2.0, saying it's not really a full repeal. He does believe that this state will see sports back, a big business loser on this bill. A lot of money has been lost, and they're trying to recoup that, and the NCAA has come out saying, giving them a timeline, I believe within 48 hours, that they had to repeal this and take some action, or they weren't going to do business.
Yeah, and he's catching a lot of criticism from both sides of the argument. You mentioned it, the LGBT community, but he said it was important that the state compromised, that they had to come together with some type of agreement, but also said that this is not the end of the work for that state in trying to make North Carolina much better. Again, this is the North Carolina Governor, Roy Cooper, who is addressing the media now after the passage of this repeal here, HB 2. We'll stay on this story for the much part of the day and bring you the very latest as it continues to develop.